I smell, I smell, I smell, I smell.
Today we're going to look at wild screenshots from TikTok. And there isn't anything else that needs to be said, so let's begin. Remembering when I was in 9th grade and a new kid walked in bald and I said, "Who messed your head up?" And he said, "Chemotherapy." If that kid's villain origin story wasn't started before this, that definitely started it then. I remember saying, "No, we can't," to the Bob the Builder theme song. That's where the darkness in me began. The malice, the hatred. It was all from that moment. I've done some things like that. Like, for example, when I was younger, I didn't like Justin Bieber, and I remember he had that one song that went like, "When you smile, I smile," and I just kept changing the lyrics whenever it would come on. I just kept saying,
"When you smell, I smell, I smell, I smell, I smell."
And I just kept saying smell instead of smile. I really thought I was doing something there. Thinking about the time I laughed in front of the guy I liked, and a tonsil stone shot out from my throat onto his knee. I mean, that's how most love stories begin. Doing something harmful or embarrassing in front of or to your crush. I've seen things like this unfold in front of my very eyes. Like, I once knew this guy who knew this guy who knew that guy who knew this guy who happened to know that guy.
Two hours later.
Anyways, yeah, that's what happened. That's how it goes. When I remember the time I made a tutorial on iMovie about how to call the police and actually called 911 and told them I was kidnapped just to make the tutorial more realistic, only for a SWAT team to show up 5 minutes later and arrest my grandpa with Alzheimer's who was on life support in the other room. Some woman said my nose was ugly, so I found her address, printed out the comment, and mailed it to her. Well, she definitely won't make any more comments about your nose because now she knows that you know where she lives. So I was taking a shower and I felt my butt itching, like inside my butt. So I got out of the shower and went to wipe my butt. I looked at the paper after I wiped. There was a spider in my butt. It was dead. So I looked up spiders in butthole, and I've learned that brown recluses, don't know if I'm saying that right, will nest inside people's rectums, and I am so afraid. That is certainly something I wish I didn't know, because now I will be paranoid. When I was selling an item and I said, "It's $350, and he said, "Say less." So I said, "Okay, $300. As far as I'm aware, the slang term "say less" has been around for many years. So you must have been very sheltered to have never heard of that slang term before. But don't worry, I was just like you when I first heard that slang term. I was talking to someone and they said, "Say less." And then I was like,
Okay.
and then just didn't say anything after. When I was 10, I found out my brother was lactose intolerant, so I trapped him in a room with a humidifier filled with milk and watched him scream and cry while pooping his pants. Wow, siblings are really cruel to each other when they're younger, and even sometimes when they're older, but definitely a lot more when they're younger in most cases. That one time I had to do a poop sample for the doctors, and instead of getting a tiny bit on the pooper scooper, I filled the entire pot up to the brim. She told me, "That's a generous amount, isn't it?" I never knew they did poop samples at a doctor's office. I've only known of pee samples. Is that common in other parts of the country or even world? I've never heard of that before. When I was 7, I farted in class and I was too embarrassed for anyone to know, so I tried to distract them by randomly starting banging my head on the desk speaking gibberish and pissed my pants, and I got sent to a mental institution. Oh god, oh man, dude. I had a kid like that when I was in middle school. He was in the bathroom. He just started slamming the bathroom doors against the wall. When you thought for 100,000% certain there was a kidnapped woman in the trunk of your Uber, so you call 911 and they show up and hear her scream, so they pull him out at gunpoint, traumatizing him for the rest of his life, and then open his trunk to discover it was a defective Minion Happy Meal toy. No, you definitely uncovered some kind of plot there, because why does a grown man have a Minion Happy Meal kids toy in their trunk? Thinking about the time I popped a squat in the bush, but someone turned on a flashlight and I just rolled all the way down the hill, completely pantsless, in the spotlight, apologizing profusely and still peeing. We've all been there. If you've never had to pee in some bushes and then get caught and then have to run away with your pants still down, still peeing, you haven't truly lived. When a doctor asked me how many drinks I have a week and I said, not that many, maybe 30, and he said anything above 10 is alcoholism. To me, even 10 drinks itself sounds like too many to me. That sounds like alcoholism. 5 sounds like alcoholism a week. I feel like drinking alcohol is something you should do like once, maybe twice a week. Anything over that, you're drunk. When I was pregnant and trying to brag about growing our baby and said, I grew a brain today, and my husband said, it's about damn time. Boom. Roasted. Prepare to be roasted like that for the rest of your life while you're with that husband at least. Thinking about the time in middle school when my best friend and I were making cookies and her little brother was mad we weren't paying attention to him, so he got his deceased hamster out of the freezer and banged his frozen body against the kitchen counter. I mean, that is certainly one way to try to get someone's attention. He clearly succeeded because you witnessed it and are now making a TikTok about it. Reading these TikToks or people talk about them like slipping up, saying or doing something or just a crazy situation reminded me of my own story, but that's a story for another time. So yeah, thank you all for watching. If you have your own story like this, leave it in the comments. I'd love to read it and have a few laughs or be sorry that it happened. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.